all things hard and heavy in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre.
Right now we're talking to Chris Garza of Suicide Silence. Chris, how are you?
Man, I am doing fantastic. How about you?
I'm doing well. First off, Chris, I do have to ask you about this current installment of the Mayhem Festival this year. Now, you guys are close to nearing the end of the road for the tour soon. How has the whole package gone thus far?
Yeah, we pretty much hit the halfway mark already, and it's definitely been one of like the best tours I think we've ever done as a band. Everyone's cool. Everyone's hanging out. I mean, all the bands are awesome. So I can't complain, man. It's fucking sick.
Oh, nice. So, of course, your band is no stranger to these types of tours. I'm curious, what are the best and the worst parts of this festival-type tour in your experience?
The best, I would say, just the show in general. Just getting a chance to play in front of new people and the big crowds that come out to these type of shows. And some of the cons is not being able to poop in your own toilet.
Nice.
Having to deal with those porta potties, but that's probably the only con, man. Everything about these stores is incredible. Everything from like meeting people to the food. It's just everything's pretty much on point with Mayhem.
Sure. Are there any bands this year that really knock you out, or do you guys even get much time to see any of the bands?
For some reason, it's been really hard to check out all the bands, but yeah, it definitely made it a point to at least check out a song. And big fan of El Nino. Amur is fucking heavy. And plus, Amir are really close homies of ours. Orange is definitely top of my list. Check them out like pretty much every night. Heavy involved. Wretched, pretty cool guys.
Sure.
Yeah, that's pretty much my top band.
Right. Now, of course, Chris, we have to mention the brand new record, You Can't Stop Me, which actually just came out. I'm curious, tell me about the experience of writing and recording this record after Mitch Lucker had passed. I mean, was there a time at all when you guys kind of doubted the band's future at all working on this?
Yeah, I mean, all the doubts pretty much stopped when the record was actually being worked on, and once we locked in Eddie. And of course, the experience without Mitch being there was very hard. It was very different because I mean, I've been in a band with Mitch for like 10 years. So going from that to that person not being there was very difficult. But luckily we found Eddie, and then once the ball started rolling, I mean, once things really got started, like we were in my garage and we were jamming, the songs were just flowing out. Like it seemed like a couple days, and like this is like the last year has literally been a blur because things were just so chaotic and things were working so fast. And maybe that was the way to dealing with the whole process of Mitch not being there. Really, diving into the record and doing pretty much nothing else.
Right. Well, if there's anything that could really be said about this record is that, Eddie is just a powerhouse vocalist. I mean, you guys really found, somebody to really pick up the ball and run with it, as far as vocals.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it quite a few times. If it wasn't Eddie, I don't think anyone else could have, achieved as well as, and plus with the history that Eddie has with the band, I'm very close to for many years. It just so happens that timing worked out, and I still can't believe it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's weird even like talking about it. Like holy crap! Like the record's out, Eddie's doing great. He sounds
Yeah, for sure. I do have to mention too, listening to this new record. I mean, if it's at all possible, judging by your past work, the production on this one, it sounds even bigger, and it's more of like that punch in the face. You know what I mean? Was that intentional from working with Steve Evans, or was that just a byproduct of the music?
It was a little. We definitely went a lot deeper than we ever have. Of course, you had to go deep with what happened. And Steve really showed us how to express that into music, and he was really good. If not, I would say like the best at getting a great take out of you. So yeah, I mean, the music came out pissed off, and Steve Evans was the fucking man and knew how to capture that into a record, and his mixing job was, even better.
Yeah, it's a very, very powerful sound on this record. Yeah. Now, of course, as usual, this record, tackles some great subject matter like you guys have always done. I mean, I'm partial to the kind of self-empowering stuff like Warrior on this record, but is there any subject or themes that you like to have in your songs more than others?
Honestly, not really. I never really been like really deep into the lyrics aspect of it, only because it was like I was so used to mix writing, and it was kind of like an unspoken thing between me and Mitch. I would just trust that his vocals would be fucking badass, and his lyrics, and he would pretty much trust what I did. So I was never, I really stay away from the lyric aspect of it.
Right.
But it's just trust. I trusted Eddie to write those, those like empowering lyrics that you feel when you listen to it.
Yeah, it just completely complements the music and the riffs. It's just very, very powerful and cohesive.
Yeah, totally. It just fit in.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I'm curious too. Obviously, you're one of the founding members of the band, Chris. As far as the evolution of the band within the last 10 years or so, what have you seen? I mean, what are you most proud of about the band as it's moved forward for this amount of time?
It's really hard to pinpoint like just one thing, but as far as now, just the fact that we're still here. I'm very proud. I'm very proud that we could still carry on Mitch's legacy. I think that's what I'm most proud of now.
Yeah.
It's the fact that we were able to even still be a band after what happened. After all the doubt and after all like the bullshit that went on, just being able to be a band again and able to keep Mitch alive is definitely what I'm most proud of. As being in the band and as being a friend of Mitch.
Sure. And I'm definitely seeing some positives too with this record because I was actually just at Best Buy the other day, and obviously the new record is well within in viewing, as far as the music section there. It's on a great display. And of course you've got some great guests on this one too, George from Cannibal Corpse and Greg from Dillinger. How did those guys in particular come about?
Just one of those things that made like the most sense. Once we finished writing the songs, it just kind of made sense. We heard Greg's voice over that one part, and we heard George's voice over that one part. So, Greg, we're all a big fan of his band. So we toured together in Soundwave, which was in last February. Now it's right when we were wrapping up the record, and we just asked him, "Hey, would you be into doing a song?" And he was down, and goddamn, it sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah, very powerful.
And Dan Kenny and Corpse Grinder are fucking like best friends.
Oh, great.
It's it's really cool to see. So he asked George if he would be interested in doing a track, and it worked out. Sounds fucking brutal. Love it.
Yeah, speaking of brutal, as is the Hatebreed cover on the special edition, Last Breath. I mean, that just fits in perfectly with what you guys were going for on this record.
Yeah. Hatebreed is one of those bands that you just love, So I mean, every person in Suicide, I mean, loves Hatebreed. And the way covers kind of come out because we happen to do a cover just for like every record. So they kind of pick themselves. So this record, we're just jamming Hatebreed, which is something that we've been doing for Soundcheck for actually a couple of years now. Like we're jamming like Last Breath, just having fun. And I was like, oh, this record. I was like, hey, shit, let's just fucking track it. And it came out awesome.
Yeah, it really did. Really compliments the record. I'm curious too, Chris, as a guitar player, with music getting heavier and heavier in your genre, is it tough to kind of compete as far as coming up with those massive riffs for new material?
There was a point where I was actually, I was very worried about that, and people don't like to talk about it, but bands do kind of like compete in like a weird way. And before Mitch's passing, when we were like writing like a couple of songs, I was like, thinking about, oh, should I go to like, After Effects? Should I just try this? Should I just try tune lower? Should I tune like this? Because that's what's pretty much going around right now. And then after everything happened with Mitch, I was like, all right, I'm just not going to worry about anything but Suicide. And we're going to basically do what we do, is jam in the room. I'm not going to mess with any tunings. I'm not going to mess with anything, just let it flow out. So it's kind of like, you don't worry about what's going on outside, just worry about what you're doing. Try to be the best version of yourself, and that will, come out with the music. And, that's pretty much exactly what happened.
Right. I'm curious too, Chris. I know, you've got some dates left on this tour, and with the record just coming out, I imagine you guys are still going to be hitting the road pretty hard after Mayhem wraps up. Is that pretty much the case?
Yeah, we're gonna after Mayhem, we'll probably be home for like 7 weeks, like a month and a half, roughly. And then after that, we'll be out in October, November, December, just doing what we used to do. We've got some dates lined up in Europe in November, December, and there's something already lined up for this fall, which I think we'll be announcing very, very shortly.